Hey folks, Kevin here with Fabrk AI, and I am going to live record my work creating a new agent and new tools. So I started doing this and then I realized that I think this would be helpful for folks to see. So I'm just going to kind of talk through it. There may be some pauses. I'm going to definitely have to debug along the way, but this is going to be, I think, helpful for folks to see kind of how things go. So let me bring over my terminals here just so that they're all on one screen, and then I'm going to dive right in. So the background here is I want to give the AI the ability to use a software for project management. So these are, typically tools like Jira or let's see, Trello, Asana, Monday, all these types of tools. And basically, when you're working at a company, you kind of need a way to keep track of tasks as you go. And Trello is one of the good ones for that. I think that what I want to do with Fabrk is basically, let's see here. I just want to get to Trello's main page here. Let's see. Is build a tool that allows you to create agents thinking like they are human users. And so I think that that's a pretty powerful kind of framework to think about when you're building agents. This is bringing me right back to where I logged in. So anyway, here, I'll show you my Trello right here. Very basic. So here it is. And basically it's a way backlog, to-do list, in progress, done. That's pretty simple. So anyway, to continue my thought, one of the things you could potentially do is to build like a task tool inside that's native to AI inside of Fabrk. But I think that that's definitely a possibility at some point. But I think a more interesting kind of approach is to have AI integrate with the tools that we already have as humans to kind of do this management stuff, right? And so I don't think there's any reason why, if you think through, like, an agent's just like another human with logic, and they're able to do tasks and those types of things. And if you give them actions like creating a board, creating a card, creating a list, these are things that it can do. And so that's what I'm going to try to do here. So instead of like building in this whole action type system and task management and that sort of thing, I'm just going to use the tools that are out there. So I decided on Trello. I did some searching around the API documentation, and I found that Trello's was kind of like the easiest to understand, and was minimalist enough that I don't need like all the bells and whistles of like Jira, for example. And there was other things that just like Notion, for example's API is pretty complex. So I really want something that's pretty simple. So, all right, I'm going to show, that's enough of the backstory. Now we're going to dive in, and I'm going to show you kind of where I am, because there was some work that I did before this to kind of get everything up and running. And so I found Trello's API documentation. Let's see, here it is, right here. Okay, so here's Trello's API documentation. I'll try to post all the links in the show notes so that folks can like find the stuff. But it's pretty simple to find. Trello was bought by Atlassian and now is like kind of under Atlassian, which is also Jira. So I think this is going to be helpful. But one of the things I found out is you have to create this thing called a, what do they call this thing? A power up, I think it's called. Kind of a weird name. Power ups. So a power up, I think, is just basically an app. I'm going to make this bigger so that maybe, hopefully it's easier to see. Maybe I'll zoom in a little bit here. There we go. So a power up is just an app, and it's kind of, you can kind of think of like just an app for Trello, similar to like what a OAuth would be. And so that's what the power up is. So I did have to do that, and I will kind of post how to do this in a different video, but essentially that's what I did. And then once I did that, you can have a basically API requests to do different things inside of Trello. And so some of those things are like get the board, get a list, get a card. So those are the things. And then also I kind of did some kind of digging into how it all works. And I'm going to talk through that really quickly now, because I think it's important for that context for what we're going to do. All right, where's my board? Here it is. Okay. So I think, and this could be wrong, I'm sure folks that have integrated with Trello in the past could tell me otherwise, but essentially what we're dealing with here is this is a board, this whole thing, like Fabrk AI marketing. Here, I'll zoom in a little bit on this. And then these are lists on the board. So like backlog to do, there are lists. And I think the idea is like, obviously you're going to put multiple cards in here. And then when you add a card, here's like idea 3. So this is, these are cards. And so that's it. That's kind of the building blocks here, I think. And then cards, of course, they're pretty complex. If you look actually that open card, you can see there's like a lot of stuff that can go in here. There's description, there's members, checklists. You can do all sorts of like custom stuff in here, and that's all reflected in the API docs. And so if you look at the card, you can see, look on the side here, like there's all this stuff you can do with cards, which is good. I think that this is stuff that I'm probably not going to use. I'm probably just going to use like the description or whatever. But eventually, if I want to do like lists and stuff, I can do those in cards. So that's that. That's kind of the high level. And then I did, if you look over here, these are the curl requests that I was just testing with. Just at a high level, the API requires your API key, which is public. This is a public key for the Fabrk power up. I guess I'm just going to call it the Fabrk app in Trello. And then the token is the token that when you add it to your Trello board, which I'm going to show you how to do here, power ups, there it is. Okay, so you can see I enabled this power up, which is Fabrk. And I'll post another video on how to do that. I can't remember exactly how I did it right now, but there's documentation on how to do that. So I did that, and then that will get you a token. And once you get the token, that's all that's required for the API requests. And then just at a high level, the way I think about kind of building things is before I go and put it in JavaScript or TypeScript, I try to do a curl request first to try to see basically like high level how things are working. And that can kind of give me a kind of a good jump start, as opposed to like just going in and trying to build these things without like doing that jump start. And then what I did was I went to the API documentation, and I actually did some changes to this board here, this kind of default board that I have. And I'm just going to show you one thing here. So this is to change the name of the board is, I'm not sure if I did it in this, but we'll try it. Nope, I didn't do it in that one. But we'll just copy and paste it in here. So hopefully this will work again. Let's see. So we're going to call it Fabrk AI test. So you can see right here, it's Fabrk AI marketing, and we're going to change it to test. There we go. That changed. That happened fast. Interesting. There must be some sort of WebSocket there, because that was really fast. Didn't even have to refresh. So anyway, so that's that. We're going to change it. I'm going to change it back to marketing. Okay, there we go. All right, and I'm just going to start the server. Okay. All right, so that's that. Really, when you try to make a new tool, it's very helpful to kind of know the API and the app that you're actually trying to build for, at least at a high level. Often you'll be integrating with something that you use all the time, like GitHub, for example. Trello I've used in the past, but I haven't used it recently, and so I need to kind of like get familiar with that, and so that's what's going on here. And of course, you'd want to do that when you're creating these tools. So anyway, so now I'm going to show you how to create these tools, and or how I create these tools, and how it works in Fabrk. So I'm going to go. I spun up the server here, and this is Fabrk. So this is just my Fabrk repo. Yarn start. It's just a create React app, and I believe that's here. Oh, where is it? Here. I'm just going to bring this into its own kind of window here. All right. So this is the dev environment. So I have a lot of agents here that are just like dev agents. And so I'm just going to start here. So I'm going to start by creating new agent. So this is the button to create new agents. I'm just going to zoom in. So when you create one, it does, throbbing black hyena, it does create a random name generator here. So I'm just going to rename this to Trello. Okay. And it does provide a image. Cool, throbbing black hyena. So I'm just going to change this. I did download Trello's logo, so that will be that. It does take a second upload because basically it stores the file and then adds it to the agent. So there we go. Also, I'm going to rename the slug. So the slugs are unique. So this is just going to be Trello. And then this is my dev environment. So, the slug should be unique to this environment. And then I'm going to call this productivity. Yeah. And then so I'm going to say the Trello API agent. So just for context, explanation is basically the one-liner of what other people are looking at this agent, what it does. Okay, so that's like the Trello API agent. Context is the actual context that gets passed to the AI to tell the agent what it does. So I'm just going to say help the user. I'm just going to say interact with the Trello task management app via API. Okay, save. Okay, so that's that. That is your agent at a very high level. It will work, but it doesn't have any tools. So the agents, they'll definitely work. So actually, let's just try this. Hi there. They will work, but they won't really be able to do anything until you add tools. And so that's what we're going to do here. We're going to create a Trello tool